Alright, what I'm doing right now for the Mustang is just setting up the oil drain. I'm going to go ahead and do the feed and return for the 6-liter. And I went ahead and put the T3 drain flange on the Borg turbo. The only difference between this and what I normally do on the drain is we're doing a -12 drain on this turbo. And also I went ahead and trimmed the compressor housing. You may have noticed in the last video, these compressor housings come with it's a proprietary 3.5-inch V-band flange on the outlet of the compressor housing. Well, the issue there was we're doing a 4-inch charge pipe and it's going to be a really short distance. So the options were to either order the 3.5-inch flange and try to do a quick transition up to 4 without it looking, sloppy. Or do a 3.5-inch charge pipe and then reduce it at the throttle body, which I didn't want to do. Or C, cut the flange off because this has this barb on it to hold a coupler very well. So I cut the flange off, that way I could do a 3.5 to 4-inch coupler here, a 4-inch coupler at the throttle body, and then just build the 4-inch charge pipe so it'll be all clean and nice. So that's what I did there. Cut that off, set up the oil drain. I'll get this put back together. I have to go outside and get the clamp. And yeah, we'll get this back together, stuck on the car. You can see that's a tight squeeze with the 12AN fitting, but I'll leave the 2 clamps loose on the CHRA and get it clocked and in position to assemble the hose when it's back in the car. Now I've got the turbo sitting back on the car and the CHRA clocked where I want it to be for the oil drain, which was an absolute pain, being this was an older turbo that's been run. Once they sit, they seize up, and to free up a turbo that probably weighs 50 pounds took about an hour to do, because you don't want to damage anything. But I've got it positioned. I'm going to take the -12 drain and run it behind the manifold down to that port on the bottom of the block, so it should clear everything. It'll clear the gates and the dump tubes. I don't want to put it out front, so I'll get that routed today in between some other things, and I'll also get the piping cut up to try to make this tight radius 4-inch bend. It's a real short sweep, so it's hard to get a single bend that will actually fit right there. Now, he actually supplied this bend, or this piece, which I'm going to cut it up and make it usable. And I'll put a better finish on it so it doesn't look like, an old beat up piece of 4-inch aluminum. Alright, now I've got the oil drain made. This is the -12 drain. I ended up doing a 45 at the turbo and straight off the pan, only because of the way the subframe is made on the front. If I would have done a 45 here, it would have hit the subframe. So I'm going to go ahead and get this put back on, and you also see I've got the charge pipe cut up and fit. I'll get that prepped and show you how I prep that before I put the blow-off valve flange on it. But yeah, let me get this stuck back on and we'll go from there. I've got that all on. I've got the wheel fully locked, so there's plenty of room between the wheel and the drain, and I'll end up having to bring the exhaust over in front of the wheel on this side of the bar, so everything will have plenty of clearance and good to go. And I'll also take a heat sleeve and wrap it around the bottom side of the line just to put a cushion in between the subframe bars and the actual hose. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do the oil feed on the car using one of our billet flanges. This is a 2-port, so if you ever wanted to run like a oil pressure sending unit or a temperature gauge or whatever, he could put it into the 2nd port without making any major changes. This is going to be -4, and what it's going to do is bolt to the oil filter housing on the side of the pan. So I'll go ahead and get that off and get this installed so I can run the line over to the turbo. this is available on our store. It's going to be a LS oil feed kit for a single turbo, and I also put an option up there for a twin turbo application to run 2 lines, which you could also run 2 separate lines off this same plate. So I'll go ahead and get that off, and I'll show you what's up. Also, I feel like I have to say this every time. With these AN fittings, we Teflon paste the NPT side of it and the NPT plug, but on the AN side, the flare side, you don't put anything. It seals itself in the fitting. So Teflon tape or paste the NPT side, flare side, the AN side, nothing goes on it. And this is also O-ring to make sure it has a good seal, just like the factory. Alright, and that's it for the oiling. So the feed is done, the drain's done. I've got the charge pipe fit. Tomorrow I'll come in, get the blow-off valve flange fit up on the pipe. I have to recope it to fit a 4-inch pipe. I'll get it prepped, welded up, and go ahead and get the tile pieces put on. I got the tile Q50 and the new pair of tile MVS gates. So I'll get all that installed and show you, and get this wrapped up to where the only thing left for me to do is to build the fender exit down pipe. So I have to put a fender back on it and get all that fit up. I think it's a 5-inch down pipe, something big, so it'll take several cuts. I may have to order some more material in for that, but anyway, I'll finish this up tomorrow other than the down pipe. And yeah, thanks for checking in. It's hot. I always come at the end thinking I'm rushing through this, or the reason I'm rushing through is because when you can't see me on camera, I'm drenched, pouring down in sweat. So it's really hard to work and talk and think and get it figured out and talk yourself through steps to explain what you're doing when you're soaking wet, sweating, and having to constantly wipe your face. But anyway, I appreciate y'all checking in. Thank you.